been developing an issue with some of my home converted e-bikes. The axles on the hub motors have a flat on either side so that the axle can slot inside the dropouts of your bike. The issue that I'm facing is that many bikes, including some of mine, are made of aluminium or another soft light alloy, and so over time the torque developed by the motor has effectively chewed out the dropout. The problem being that this allows the motor to effectively walk its way out or rotate its way out of the dropouts, which obviously can be a danger if you're out on the trail riding. But the other issue is that if the motor does work its way out, then it quickly wraps the motor cable around the axle, often causing irreparable damage to the motor cable. There's clearly a problem here that I need to fix. So one of the things that some people do is to fit small torque arms to the motor, which transfers this torque to the structural member of the triangle rather than it all being placed immediately on the dropout. I did buy one of those torque arms during one of my first conversions. I could never really figure out a neat way to get it to fit onto my particular bikes. Maybe it works for some people, I guess. So looking at my bikes earlier, I came up with a different idea. I noticed that the front face of the dropouts, as well as the bolt holes for the post mount for the brakes, are all in a common plane. So I've got an idea that what I can do is to make effectively a torque arm which is anchored to the bike using those bolt holes for the brake mount. So the only real challenge will be making sure that I've got the geometry of these plates perfectly correct. This is where having a 3D printer and being able to do the rapid prototyping is going to be really useful, and I'll do that to make sure the geometry is right. Then I'll get the plates laser cut and hopefully my problem's solved. After a dozen or so design iterations, I've now got a 3D print and design for a bracket, which I think is exactly what I need. This fits nicely onto the post mount brake brackets, and it has the slot for the axle, just the right spacing to provide that sort of torque arm relief for the hub motors. One design consideration worth pointing out is that this slot for the axle is actually deep enough to ensure that it is still the dropout on the bike that is doing the weight load bearing. We don't want the weight of the rider, battery, bike, etc. Being taken by this bracket and transferred to the brake mount. Instead, this bracket is just about providing that torque arm relief. An added bonus I didn't really expect is, with a few little design tweaks, I've managed to make the bracket fit the giant Trance, but also fit the Scott SX25 or whatever it is, using the same bracket design. Now that I believe I've got the design complete, the next thing is to send the CAD file off to some manufacturers to get a quote for how much to get a laser cut, and then I'll look forward to getting the product back and seeing if it actually works in practice. So here we are, just 2 days later. I now have my laser cut torque arms back from the laser cutter. These were next day delivery effectively. That cost me about $50 each, probably about 30 euros for that quick turnaround from a local mob, Innovative Metalworks in Queanbeyan. Of course, you'll find people online who can do it for a even cheaper price with a longer turnaround. So that's the laser cut part. With respect to the plastic 3D printed prototype, obviously they're an extremely good match. I'm really happy with this piece, cut from 304 grade stainless steel, and it will be exactly what I need for the bike. So here's one of the torque arm plates mounted on the giant Trance. So just as planned, the plate mounts to the post mount for the brakes, and then here's the slot for the motor axle into the dropout. I did discover in the process of fitting it that the front face of the dropout isn't exactly in the same plane as the mounting faces for the post mount, so I used the angle grinder just to shave a couple of hundred micron off the back side of the plate here. So I've also ordered a new derailleur hanger for the other side of the wheel. So hopefully by addressing both sides together, all my problems will be solved. I'm ready to put everything back together now. One of the things I just thought to mention is I've also just bought some of these Nordlock lock nuts, which are, I believe, the absolute gold standard when it comes to lock nuts. That should help keep my rear wheel on too. I don't think there's much more to say. I've got the little attachment there for the bike trailer when I tow it, but otherwise that's the final assembly. It definitely looks and feels so much more robust than just using the worn aluminium dropout that I had originally. Maybe this will give you some ideas if you're facing similar challenges.